Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Fitri Melinda from 5APA, Public Sector Accounting at State Polytechnic of Sriwijaya. Now, I will present my presentation and the title is Business Ownership. So let's start. Business Ownership. The owner can be the same person who directs the business and control its day-to-day process, or he can choose to have a manager for that purpose, or even name a board of directors to do it. The corporate governance applied in a particular firm largely depends on its size and operational complexity. In spite of the company's size, the owner has the ultimate control on its company and therefore decides whether to delegate or not certain key executive functions on qualified professionals. The business owner can earn a monthly wage, but he is not an employee. Entrepreneurs need to understand the advantage and disadvantage of various types of businesses so that they can choose the one that best suits their needs. There are several types of business ownership. The first is sole proprietorship. A sole proprietorship is the most basic form of business ownership, where there is one sole owner who is responsible for the business. It is not a legal entity that separates the owner from the business, meaning that the owner is responsible for all of the debts and obligations of the business on a personal level. In exchange for that liability, the owner keeps all the profits gained from the business. This form of business ownership is easy and inexpensive to create and has few government regulations, making it a more flexible type of ownership with complete control at the discretion of the owner. The advantage of sole proprietorship are 1. Sole proprietorship is easy and inexpensive to create. 2. The owner has complete authority over all business activities. 3. It is the best least regulated form of business ownership. And 4. The business pays no taxes. There are disadvantages of sole proprietorship. The one is the owner has unlimited liability. 2. Raising capital is more difficult. 3. The business is totally reliant on the skills and abilities of the owner. And 4. The death of owner dissolves the business unless there is a will to the contrary. Next, partnerships. Partnerships are a form of business ownership where two or more people act as co-owners. There are two forms of partnerships, which are general partnerships and limited partnerships, differentiated primarily by the liability coverage by the owners. In a general partnership, all owners of the business have an unlimited liability in the business, the same as a sole proprietorship. For a limited partnership, at least one of the partners has a limited liability, meaning they are not personally responsible for the debts of the business. The advantage of partnerships is 1. Partnerships are inexpensive to create. 2. General partners have complete control. 3. Partners can share ideas. Disadvantages are 1. It is difficult to dissolve one partner's interest without dissolving the partnership. 2. There might be personality conflicts. 3. Partners can be held liable for each other's actions. Next, corporations. Corporations are a form of ownership that is a legal entity separate from its owners. This creates a limited liability for all owners, but results in a double taxation on profits. First as a corporate income tax, then as a personal income tax when the owners can take their profits. Several types of corporations are 1. C corporation. C corporation is the most common form of incorporation among businesses and contains almost all of the attributes of a corporation. Owners receive profits and are taxed at the individual level, while the corporation itself is taxed as a business entity. 2. S corporation. S corporation is treated in the same way as a C corporation, but is different in owner limitation and tax purposes. An S corporation consists of up to 100 shareholders and is not taxed as separate. Instead, the profits or losses are shouldered by the shareholders on their personal income tax returns. And 3. Non-profit corporation. Commonly used by charitable, educational, and religious organizations to operate without generating profits. A non-profit is exempt from taxation. Any contributions, donations, or revenue received are retained in the entity to spend on operations, expansions, or future plans. The advantage of a corporation: 1. Limits liability of the owner to debts or losses. 2. Profits and losses belong to the corporation. 3. Can be transferred to new owners fairly easily. And 4. Personal assets cannot be seized to pay for business debts. Disadvantage of corporations are: 1. Corporate operations are costly. 2. Establishing a corporation is costly. 3. Start a corporate business requires complex paperwork. And 4. With some exceptions, corporate income is taxed twice. Next, limited liability company or LLC. A form of business ownership that is taxed like a partnership but enjoys the benefits of a limited liability like a corporation is a limited liability company. In comparison to a corporation, it is simpler to organize and does not receive double taxation, while simultaneously receiving more credibility than a partnership or sole proprietor when it comes to gathering resources such as working capital. Unfortunately, this form of ownership is usually reserved for a group of professionals such as accountants, doctors, and lawyers. Advantage of LLC are: 1. Limits liability to the company owners for debts or losses. 2. The profits of the LLC are shared by the owner without double taxations. And disadvantage of LLCs are: 1. Ownership is limited by certain state laws. 2. Agreements must be comprehensive and complex. And 3. Beginning a LLC has high costs due to legal and filing fees. So everyone, that's all my presentation about business ownership. I hope it can give you more information. I'm sorry for the mistake and thank you for the attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.